Hello everyone, I'm Yukta branch Computer Science Engineering from Sri Venkateswara College of Engineering. Today I'm going to talk about quicksort and its time complexity. So let's dive into the video. What is quicksort? Quicksort is a sorting algorithm based on the divide and conquer algorithm that picks an element as a pivot and partitions the given array around the picked pivot by placing the pivot in its correct position in the sorted array. How does quicksort works? The key process in quicksort is a partition. The target of partition is to place the pivot at its correct position in the sorted array and put all smaller elements to the left of the pivot and all greater elements to the right of the pivot, as you can see in the diagram. Partition is done recursively on each side of the pivot after the pivot is placed in its correct position, and this finally sorts the array. Algorithm for quicksort. This is the algorithm for quicksort. So now let's see pros and cons of quicksort. Advantages of quicksort. It is a divide and conquer algorithm that makes it easier to solve problems. It is efficient on large data sets. It has a low overhead as it only requires a small amount of memory to function. Disadvantages of quicksort. It has a worst case time complexity of O of n2, which occurs when the pivot is chosen poorly. It is not a good choice for small data sets. It is not a stable sort, meaning there if two elements have the same key, the relative order will not be preserved in the sorted output in case of quicksort. Because here we are swapping elements according to the pivot position without considering their original positions. What is time complexity? Time complexity is defined as the amount of time taken by an algorithm to run. As a function of the length of the input, it measures the time taken to execute each statement of code in an algorithm. What is meant by the time complexity of an algorithm? Now, the question arises, if time complexity is not the actual time required to execute the code, then what is it? Instead of measuring actual time required in executing each statement in the code, time complexity considers how many times each statement executes. Now let's see about complexity analysis of quicksort. There are three types of cases: best case, worst case, and average case. Let's see best case. Best case is a function which performs the minimum number of steps on input data of n elements. Worst case is the function which performs the maximum number of steps on input data of size n. Average case is the function which performs an average number of steps on input data of n elements. Here is a simple code for quicksort. In this code, hello world is printed only once on the screen, so the time complexity is constant. In other words, every time a constant amount of time is required to execute code, no matter which operating system or which machine configurations you are using. So let's talk about the conclusion of this video. Quicksort is a highly efficient, widely used algorithm that employs the divide and conquer strategy to sort an array or at least of elements. It works by selecting a pivot element from the input array and partitioning the array into two sub-arrays, one containing elements smaller than the pivot and the other containing elements greater than the pivot. This process is recursively applied to the sub-arrays until the entire array is sorted. It has an average time complexity of O of n log n, making it one of the fastest sorting algorithms. However, in the worst case, it can have a time complexity of O of n2. If the pivot selection is poor, various techniques can be used to optimize pivot selection and reduce the likelihood of the worst case scenarios. Quicksort is a place sorting nature and cache-friendly behavior contribute to its personal effectiveness. Thank you for watching the video.